Hi guys, welcome to my channel once again after a long bit of time because I was away and I was reading some material on Kindle, which is very difficult for me to kind of put it on a video because the Kindle has its own complexity, you know. However, I just read this book of Bernardine Bernardine Westro, and the book's name is Mr. Loverman. It was gifted to me by a friend who is residing in England. He's a writer too, and he has praised this book. And in the meanwhile, I was like reviewing this book on internet, and I was listening to the reviews of the internet, and it charmed me initially, and I thought that this book should be read because the subject is so interesting. There's an old man who is a closet homosexual, and he is in 70s, and he has been living with his wife for all his life, and now when he has turned 70, and he's at the verge of the divorce. You see, these are the subjects which are not discussed in the country where I live, but these are the very much facts of our lives. So anyway, Barrington is the protagonist, who is 74 years, and Morris is the person who is in relationship, male person who is in relationship with Barry Barrington. So Cameron is wife, and the other characters which are coming in and out, they are the ones who don't have substantial importance, but there are daughters and of Barry, and the daughters of Morris. So they are coming in and out of the scenes, but there. This is probably the survival of the story because are the extension of the story, and I think Bernadine wanted to extend the story with the insertion of those characters. But for me, I think if I think as an Asian writer or Asian reader, I think those characters were completely unnecessary because this story was completely straight and could have been only with those characters. However, since I have taken notes from the book, and I really enjoyed some of the passages. Doesn't matter that I'm like talking ill of it somehow, but I really enjoyed the story because the feelings are very much portrayed there. Like you see, I'm just reading my review first, and then I'll be reading some of the passages if it is available through my leafing through the book. This book is contained. This book contained a very simple story. It was um, made deliberately complicated by the writer by inserting too many characters in the story or novel. This kind of experiment of the novel is not my favorite genre in literature because I always, find straight stories very much riveting. Like recently, I read a book of Nita Prose called The Med, which was a wonderful book, and I was very much intrigued by it. The character was very much, well, the characters were kind of rememberable, right? So, however, it will be very unfair if I don't say that some of the passages were very palpable, and I took notes of them, and I I am um, you know so I'm stopped to give okay, so if I get suggestion to rank this book, I'll rank it 5 out of 10. That's what my counting is, because I think it's the territory that is defining the writer or reader. I mean, this is probably the few first books that I've read from British literature, and I've not read much of the literature apart from the Asian writers who were established in Britain. So I still laughed at some of the passages, like for example, while she was asleep, great vanquisher of embattled mind, geniusness is the great tranquilizer of the damaged soul. And the hummingbird is hovering around orange tulips, and there, there over there flies a brown ibis into the very English sky. And the other passages, the other line is, feel the blast of the morning sunshine coming from through the wide open windows and on your face. It's good. And those noisy crickets and tree frogs that never shut at night. And this is also fascinating, And okay, I explore her true worth. I laid the foundations for her become a maker of art rather than assessor of someone else's creativity. This is beautiful. And breaking my unspoken rule not to give advice to anyone. And this is, you know, I've like, okay, children, when my wife returns from abroad, I will tell her that our 55 years marriage is null and void, and she will have to face the prospect of spending the rest of her life alone. Likely, she will come at me with craving knife. I'll tell her that I have always loved Morris and never loved her. She might go at herself with carving knife. Good night. So this is how you know the story is. Uh, you know some of the passages like uh, the there goes a man with a big ego in a small dick. So getting drunk is for losers. Winners stay sober in the rule world. Hey, this is good. Full of plans and dreams instead of looking at plans for funeral pots, metaphorically speaking. So, this is it, and I hope that you find this book interesting because I've not found it. But eventually, this may be the spoiler, but I think Morris also Barry is more trended towards mm, uh, Morris and rather Camel. So, but I think this is how you have to discover yourself. I'm not going to give any spoilers to you all. Thank you for listening to me, and hope that I come up with another story soon, and the novel soon.